Well, I've got another slight problem with my Sony TA-636 amplifier. I've got crackling and a bit of distortion on the right channel. So I'm looking at the transistors here, the PNP transistors. And if I look inside, I think you'll see that that's for the right channel, which is the noise, where the noise is coming from, and that's the left channel. I've just unscrewed the screws and hold it down. The heatsink compound had all dried out anyway, so that's going to need to be changed. So that would be for the right channel, and that'd be for the left channel. These are the DS08 PNP transistors. So what I'm going to do here is swap them over just to double verify with myself that that is the problem. But I think that is it. I think that's the problem, yeah. Because that's been replaced before, the black one. The green one would be an old one from 1980, and that one's been replaced about 1990. It's quite a newer style of transistor. But they're both cross-referenced to each other anyway. I just looked on the internet. These are switching, low-speed switching transistors for the power amp. So these need to be swapped over so I can test what's what. But first I'll just take this one out and then power him up and see where we go. And yeah, I think in the end I should just change both of them. But that looks like the problem to me anyway. So I think I'll get a matched pair of these transistors, and they aren't cheaper, they're about £5 a piece. But it is worth it for this amp because it is a good amp. You know, you can expect these problems. I mean, you know, it's nearly 40 years old, this amp. So, you know, you're going to have a few little niggles like that. But, you know, I'm going to swap these over and see if the problem goes over to the left channel. That will verify then that is the issue. I've recapped all this anyway. As you saw on one of my earlier videos where I posted, I think it was last year. But yeah, when you get crackling, it's normally the transistors. It can't be the capacitors because they've all been changed. But I haven't got a scope on hand just to double verify everything, you know. I should just change them. Anyway, this amp's going to end up having just all new parts put in it, you know what I mean? It's something I don't normally do, is just throw parts at the problem, but yeah, I may as well just do it. Well, I said I wasn't going to get too far into this amp, but anyway, here I am. I'm rewiring the wiring loom because at present it's just a jungle of wires, as you can see. They're all over the bloody place. So I'm going to snip these, cut them back, crimp them, solder them together. And if you do this, you must make sure that you have a good mechanical connection between the wires. Don't just solder the wires together. It ain't going to cut it. Make sure you've got a good mechanical connection, and you use heat shrink tubing over the joints there, like that. I've already done these. I've cut these and soldered them together, going back to the front tone board there. That's how I want all the amp to look in the end, like that, and tied back. And you know, because this helps airflow as well, because these get quite warm, these amps, when they're on. But anyway, as you can see, I'm in for a right treat, aren't I? Look at all this. But I've already got started now. Oh, look here. Them transistors are replaced. Them are sound now, they're working perfect. But I found a couple more resistors down here that were well out of whack. They were 82 ohms and they were reading 115, 120. So, you know, they needed changing, so they'll be here tomorrow. So I'll put them in. I have decided to change the two great big filter caps there. These two main ones, the two main filters. And I just thought, you know, it's just preventative maintenance, because with the amp being so old, and if it wasn't for the fact that this amp sounded so bloody good, I wouldn't be doing all this. But it's such a nice sounding amp that I just thought, you know, stuff it. I may as well go the whole log and do it all properly. But that whole board, everything you see on that board there, has been completely recapped new resistors, new transistors, everything. So this should sound sweet as a nut when it's put back together. You know, I've changed, there we go, I put some new heatsink compound on that down there as well. Them transistors, they've both been changed. So like I say, this should sound really nice. But blimey, I've done a lot of work on this thing, I'll tell you. Hell of a lot of work. Making progress now anyway. As you can see, you've got to make sure you've got a good mechanical joint on these wires. J-hook them, don't just solder them together, because if any of these come loose, you're in deep trouble. Okay, that's one done. Only another probably 50 to go. You see there, that's how they should look when you do them. You must make sure you J-hook these together. It's no good relying on just soldering them together without doing this, because they will come apart. It's a very stiff type of wire, this, so you know. And make sure you use a good heat shrink tubing like that, and just pull that over. Can't do this with one hand, I don't think. There you go, like that. You can see there, this is my goal. I want them all looking like that, all tied together and heat shrunk. It does help if you've got one of these gas soldering irons, just make life a lot easier. Just a matter of tidying it all up, you know, because from the factory in the 70s these wires were just all over the place like this, just dangling everywhere, and of course if they start to hit the hot heat sink, they will start melting. So it's just a matter of tidying it up and making it safer. There you go, like that. I've got all these to do yet. Like I say, all these done. That loom's done there, going across from the transformer. So I'll get cracking. I'm going to look through the schematic here. I'll show you what I've done. Let's go down to page 13, I think it is. This whole board has been redone. Every single component on it has been redone. All the capacitors, all the resistors, all the inductors, everything's been done on that board. So this amp should sound really nice when it's done, when it's all put back together and the rest of my parts have turned up. But yeah, all the lot, everything there. And I'll go down to this, go down to the mains transformer and show you what I was on about with making it safe. Now, that's the line coming in, the power coming in from the mains. And all you've got here is just one bare wire going through, straight through all three of these connectors, these outlets. That's just not acceptable. I don't think today that would pass any safety standards whatsoever. And they were just live parts showing all the way down. And here I've just put heat shrink tubing on. I've soldered individually wires coming off the transformer and put heat shrink tubing on each one, so they're completely sealed. You know, if you're working on I know you shouldn't have it plugged in anyway when it's apart, but if you do and you forget and you touch that, you're dead. Simple as that. That's live, 250 volts straight from the mains. And there's no fuse protection. I put a fuse in there as well, so you've got a fuse protection now, a 1.5 amp fuse. So yeah, it's all good. But yeah, that board, power amp board, everything, I've got this on my big screen at the moment, everything there, all the way along, the entire board has been redone, every part on it. And goes to the transformer. These two mains wires here were just wrapped around these pins. No, that's no good, that's not safe at all. So I've soldered them on and put heat shrink tubing over them. They could have just snapped off at any time. And this, the terminal block here, that lets you plug other separates into the amp, these were just wires, bare wires from the mains just joined together. So I've cut them off and soldered wire on with heat shrink tubing again. Again, this makes everything safer, because with today's health and safety, I don't think that would pass anything. But now that's rock solid now. You can see there. You can't just have a piece of wire going straight across on your live terminal. That's just terrible, you know. Yeah, it's rock solid, that is now. Done the same with all these tap wires on the transformer. I've made sure they're all soldered on properly instead of just wire wound. Yeah, that's all good. Making some progress now. I've just got to do this bundle of wires here, tidy them up, and then ready to get the parts fitted in it. So that's my progress so far, and I will upload another video showing you what I've done to this amp in the next few days. Okay, thanks for watching.